excited about today's session. We're diving into some really profound wisdom from older Americans.
Yeah, it's centered around Chapter 7 of Karl Pillemer's book, 30 Lessons for Living. Amazing stuff.
It really is. He interviewed hundreds of people, 70 and older.
Gathering all these insights from lives well lived. It's quite something.
So our mission today, to really unpack what these experts, because that's what they are shared about choosing happiness and, how to make the absolute most of life, like starting now.
Exactly. It's not just surface level tips. Pillemer found these underlying principles, like a shared worldview that came through all the interviews.
A kind of framework.
Yeah, he distilled it into 5 core lessons in this chapter, a conceptual framework based on all that lived experience.
Okay, let's get into it. The first lesson, and this one seems to hit home for so many of them, is this deep awareness that time is of the essence.
Right, and what's really striking is how different their view of time is. They call it a limited time horizon.
Meaning, it's not endless.
Exactly. For them, the end isn't some abstract thing way off in the distance. It's visible. It shapes everything.
You really hear that in their words. Like Jordan Chen, 68, saying his years just flew by very, very fast. Like yesterday, I graduated high school.
Or Essie Feist, 99 years old, she said, "The time goes so fast, the older I get, the quicker the time goes." Wow.
It makes you think of that old wisdom, like the psalmist, teach us to number our days.
That we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Yeah, but hearing it from someone who's actually lived almost a century, it makes it so much more real, tangible.
And they get frustrated, don't they, seeing younger people just waste time, like it's infinite.
Pillemer uses that great analogy like a desert tribe staring in dismay at our profligate use of water.
Ooh, yeah. And Joe Barneau, 94, just says, look, age arrives fast, whether you're thinking about it or not.
So the point isn't to be gloomy. It's the opposite, really. It's about letting that awareness make you choose more wisely today.
Appreciate the day. Treat it like a gift.
Exactly. That's the call to action.
They mentioned carpe diem, but different.
Yeah, not reckless abandon, more like harvesting the day. Actively noticing and gathering up the little pleasures, the beauty, the moments of connection that are always there.
But easily missed if you're always rushing or focused on the future.
Right. And that ties into that Talmudic saying Pillemer quotes, "We will be held accountable for all the permitted pleasures we failed to enjoy."
Wow. That puts the responsibility squarely on you, doesn't it?
It does, to seek it out, to savor it.
Like Genevieve Portis, 72. She learned to stop saying, I can't wait until, and just live now. And found things turned out better.
Or Mary Beth Grieshaber, 74, describing life as a library book that could be recalled any time. That's powerful. Don't put things off.
Because, as Trudy Jefferson put it, she was 84. Later time will turn out to have been yesterday.
It gives you this urgency, but a joyous urgency,
Yeah. Like Valerie Jenkins, 74, joking, do it now because there are no wheelchair ramps to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. And Harriet Wagner, 75, with her friends, saying, skip the funerals and see your friends now.
That's brilliant. So direct. We're not going to come to your funeral, so we're here now.
It's funny, but it really makes you think about priorities.
So, lesson 1. Life is short. Use that knowledge not for sadness, but to fuel a quest for happiness now. Make it a daily thing.
Which flows perfectly into the second lesson. Happiness is a choice,
Yeah.
not a condition.
This one is huge. It came up constantly. The idea that happiness isn't just passive. It doesn't just depend on what happens to you or even your personality.
You have to choose it consciously
Yeah.
every day.
Exactly. Think of Gretchen Phelps, 89. Lived through poverty, loss, pain, yet she just radiated this calm.
And her core lesson.
In my 89 years, I've learned that happiness is a choice, not a condition. Coming from her, that's profound.
So what does that mean practically?
Taking responsibility for your own attitude. You can't always control events, but you can control your reaction. She called that her single best piece of advice.
Other people echoed that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Gloria Vasquez, 86, called it a biggest light bulb moment, realizing she could choose to move away from painful situations. Mo Aziz, 75, was very blunt.
How so?
He said, you're not responsible for everything that happens, fine. But you are completely in control of your attitude and your reactions. Negative feelings, you have to dig them out like a weed.
Don't abdicate being CEO of your own life.
Right.
Like that.
It's this happy in spite of idea, which is so different from the trap many of us fall into.
The happy if only trap.
Exactly. I'll be happy if only I lose weight, get that job, find a partner. But research shows those things often only give temporary bumps anyway.
Where it's the elders believe they can choose happiness daily, even when things are tough.
Right. Marguerite Renaud, 80, said when bad stuff happens, you have two choices: mope or put on a brave face and get on with your life. Simple as that.
Christy Galvin, 84, said happiness doesn't just come at you, you have to adopt a policy of being joyful. And she linked that to gratitude.
An attitude of gratitude? And some of the stories, just incredibly powerful examples of this choice. Ruth Helm, for instance.
She survived Nazi Germany.
Yes. And then later, tragically lost her 21-year-old daughter in a plane crash. She was lost in grief for 2 years, just numb, mechanical.
Oh, wow.
But then her other daughter said something that just pierced through. Mom, you're always so sad. It makes me feel that I need to run away from you.
That must have been devastating to hear.
Absolutely. And that was the turning point. Ruth said, I chose to be happy, and I chose it for my family. She realized worrying gets you nowhere. Using your brain does.
Choosing happiness is an active strategy.
Yes. Or Mary Farmer, 67, blind for decades, partially paralyzed from a stroke, major disabilities.
But she leads an active life.
Incredibly so. Her decision. Decide not to feel sorry for myself. She jokes about pity parties, says Satan brings the chips.
Oh,
That's
resilience.
And deep gratitude. Just happy to get up on her own each day, remembering her mom's advice. Don't drag your behind. Get up and do what you have to do. And she says, I'm very satisfied with my life. Every day, I want it.
She wants every day she's given, choosing satisfaction.
It's inspiring. Shirley Gary, 73, consciously counts blessings when she feels down. Antoinette Watkins, whose daughter died young, sees life and those years as gifts, knowing the joy outlasts the pain.
So they're not denying the pain or loss.
Not at all. They've become experts at balancing it, at holding both loss and pleasure, and teaching us that we can choose a positive attitude day by day.
Okay, so if we're choosing happiness and not letting externals dictate, that leads into lesson 3, which is very direct. Time spent worrying is time wasted.
Yeah, this one was almost universal. Just stop worrying. It's a colossal waste of the precious time you have.
A huge regret for many of them. I wish I hadn't worried so much.
Right. Wishing they could have that time back. Pillemer even shares his own feeling, looking back at his younger self.
Poisoning the present with future anxiety. Wanting to tell himself to just relax.
Exactly. The elders see worry as this unnecessary barrier. John Alonzo, 83, just cuts right to it. Don't believe that worrying will solve or help anything. It won't, so stop it.
Simple as that.
Valerie Armstrong, 69, argued there's never an excuse to worry because it stops you from taking action. It just saps your energy and accomplishes nothing.
Once you have the info or make a decision, the worry is pointless.
Right. And James Huang, 87, he realized that constantly thinking about what could go wrong, it made no difference at all.
And letting go of that brought freedom.
A freedom that's hard to describe, his advice. Turn from worry and let everything else you love move in.
Alice Rossetto, who worked in addiction recovery, called worry a futile attempt to control the uncontrollable. Learning to let go brought her peace and serenity.
And what's striking is, even people who lived through the Depression, through wars, they saw worry as crippling, as an inexcusable waste of their limited time, not as some necessary evil.
So, how do you actually do that? Stop worrying. Did they have tips?
They did concrete things. First, focus on the short term. Eleanor Madison, 102 years old.
Wow, 102.
Right. Her advice, this too will pass, and you just have to take one day at a time. Try to consciously push the worry aside.
Okay, one day at a time. What else?
Second, instead of worrying, prepare. Lucy Rowan said she combats anxiety by preparing thoroughly. She drew a sharp line between worry and conscious, rational planning.
Preparation versus fretting.
Exactly. Joshua Bateman suggested naming the fear. I'm afraid of X. Then you can actually plan for X, instead of just vaguely worrying about it.
Makes sense. Turn anxiety into action.
And the third antidote they mention is acceptance. Sister Claire Moran, 100 years old.
Another centenarian.
Incredible. She learned a technique years ago. When troubling thoughts came up, anger, resentment, she'd just repeat, just let it be, let it be.
Let it be.
She found it most wonderful. And Hannah Roble, a Holocaust survivor, her wisdom was profound. You have to learn from the problems, or the problems overcome you. Acceptance. It's just the way it is.
So acceptance isn't giving up.
No, it's accepting reality so you can work within it. Her advice, be calm, go with the flow. Acceptance is key.
It frees up energy, I guess. The energy you were spending fighting reality.
Precisely. Worry often happens without actual stressors, just dwelling on possible threats. Problem solving is concrete. One enhances life, the other is just a waste they deeply regretted.
Okay, so don't waste time worrying. What should we do? Lesson 4. Think small.
Right, this is the counterintuitive one. Instead of chasing big dreams for happiness,
The happy if only.
yeah, they say find happiness by enjoying daily life more, savoring the tiny pleasures.
Because their limited time horizon makes them notice things.
Exactly. Things younger people often take for granted unless maybe they lose them for a while. A warm bed, good coffee, a bird singing, a chat with a friend, these aren't trivial.
To the fabric of happiness.
That's the phrase Pillemer uses. And many learned this during the Depression, having very little taught them to appreciate everything.
Like Larry Handley describing the sheer joy of a nickel for popcorn or a 10-cent movie.
And boy, we really had a Saturday afternoon. That contented sigh. It wasn't about the money spent, it was about the appreciation.
So the small things matter, especially when the big things go wrong.
Ursula Lauterbach, 76, who lived through Nazi Germany, said exactly that. Deprivation taught her not to take things for granted, to enjoy every day, especially because of the little things, finding joy even if the big things go wrong.
Lydia McKeon learned later in life to just enjoy the little things, not sweat the small stuff like dust, but enjoy a walk, a talk.
And interestingly, sometimes illness or disability actually sharpens this ability.
How so?
Facing fragility makes the present moment more precious. Tamara Reed, with many illnesses, learned to adapt and enjoy what you can, actively looking for beauty or music.
Marianne Rumsey said health problems make the day-to-day become more important because you don't know what tomorrow is.
Her advice: enjoy each day if you feel fine today, and lighten up. Be happy.
So how do you practice this? Savoring.
It takes conscious effort. Flora Turnbull, the poet-philosopher, made a daily list of 10 small, new things she wanted to try. Not chores, but opportunities for delight.
Like walking on tiptoes waiting for the aha experiences.
Yeah, watching for a feather from an angel's wing, looking for magic in the mundane.
Cynthia Visser looked for delightful things even while doing taxes, like looking out the window or at pictures of parks.
We have to find these small, delightful things, she said. It's an active search.
And this links back to gratitude, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Seeing routine pleasures as gifts. Renata Moratz, with her attitude of gratitude, starting the day saying, yes, I'm alive, ending with thank you for simple things, because that's where it's at.
And again, the message is, do this now.
Malcolm Campbell, the former workaholic, regretted not learning this until his 60s, wished he'd had those extra decades of enjoyment.
So, lesson 4. Don't take things for granted. Be grateful for simple pleasures. Cultivate that skill early.
Okay, that brings us to the 5th lesson, which, for many, though not all, was crucial. Have faith.
Important to note, it wasn't everyone, but a large majority.
Yes, the vast majority across different traditions, Christian, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, Muslim, even spiritual but not religious, they endorsed developing a spiritual side. Why? Because simply, it works.
And what did it works mean for them? 2 main things.
Primarily, yes. 1, it provides a vital source of community. 2, it offers powerful resources for coping with life's inevitable troubles.
Let's talk community first. It wasn't just personal belief.
Many stress the value of participating in a religious group, that community feeling. Pillemer mentions research backing this up, links between participation and happiness, satisfaction, coping.
Any examples jump out?
Maureen Stewart valued the community feeling, the activities, sometimes even more than the purely spiritual side. Chris Schultz found a unique sense of community with people concerned about the world. Kate DeYoung said her church community was crucial, like family, during tough marital times.
That support network.
Exactly. Pillemer described feeling the energy at a Hindu cultural center, people sharing worries, celebrating together. Auntie Deepa spoke of prayer, but also stressed how important the center was for community.
And the second benefit, coping.
Faith helped them place suffering in context, find acceptance. Some couldn't imagine how people coped without faith when facing really hard times.
Like Curtis and Barbara McAllister.
Yes, facing multiple bouts of life-threatening cancer. Not fanatics, they said, but they strongly credited their faith support. Barbara felt God was always with her, which made a huge difference, saying, okay, it's up to you.
A sense of not being alone in it.
Curtis felt faith in God's care helped, whatever the outcome, believing there's more to life than just existing on your own.
Even those without traditional belief found value sometimes.
Like April Stern, Jewish but didn't believe in God. Yet she found comfort in the morning rituals and a vital connection to a community during holidays after her husband died.
So the structure, the community, still helped.
And crucially, the overwhelming message was one of tolerance. Most weren't saying what to believe.
Just that believing something helps.
Right. Renata Moratz, deeply religious herself, emphasized the common thread. Love one another and forgive one another. Cora Jenkins advised a deep but unfanatical faith.
So faith, often within a community, offers support, coping mechanisms, perspective, and should be approached with tolerance.
Exactly. That's the fifth pillar.
And then there's kind of an overarching principle woven through all of this.
Yes, a kind of postscript that came up more than anything else, the golden rule.
Just stated simply, the golden rule.
Sometimes just that, or paraphrased. Do to others what you want them to do to you. Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Why was this so central for them?
Pillemer dug into that. He concluded that the core of the golden rule, found everywhere, is fundamentally about compassion.
Compassion, meaning suffering with.
Yes. Actively trying to understand where someone else is coming from, to feel with them, seeing everyone as fellow travelers.
And when you feel that empathy,
treating others well becomes natural. It flows from that understanding.
So the elders put it simply, be kind, be a friend, treat others with respect.
Exactly. Mabel Lutz, 91, just summed it up as love, giving love. And she regretted being critical when younger, wishing she'd been more compassionate then.
In Joshua Bateman's perspective, that really tied it all together, about a life well lived.
Yeah, he asked those two powerful questions. Who have you helped? And who likes you?
He contrasted living just for yourself
Sticking your head in a hole, making no ripples.
with interacting, helping, building others up. The kind of person whose metaphorical funeral is crowded.
His final thought is so potent. If I stick my head in a hole and think of just myself, nobody will come to my funeral, and I'll deserve it. A real gut check about the value of connection and contribution.
Wow. Okay, so let's quickly recap those 5 big lessons. 1, time is of the essence, act now.
2, happiness is a choice, cultivate it daily despite challenges.
3, worrying is wasted time. Choose preparation and acceptance instead.
4, think small, savor everyday pleasures with gratitude.
And 5, have faith find community in coping with tolerance.
And underpinning it all, the golden rule. Compassion, connection, helping others. These aren't just nice ideas, are they? They feel like direct challenges.
They really do. Calls to action for you listening right now. How can you, starting today, choose happiness more consciously? Let go of a worry. Savor a small moment. Practice more compassion.
What ripples are you creating? Who are you helping? Something to really sit with.
Definitely something to mull over. And believe it or not, we've just scratched the surface of the wisdom in Pillemer's work.
There's so much more. We'll be diving back in soon to explore more profound insights from these amazing lives.
So stay tuned for our next deep dive.